Hello and welcome. This is Iron Port. This program is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Gold Company Limited, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and Serene Insurance. Our proud media partner is the Business and Financial Times. In this week's edition of the program, we are discussing the positioning of Ghana's ports for the $3 trillion African Continental Free Trade Area. And we engaged the Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Michael Luguje, who detailed some interventions the ports have taken to be the hub for regional trade.
You have a 1.2 billion people market involving $3 trillion that you're supposed to begin to face. It's an open market that the entire African continent is hoping to sort of benefit from or harness from. Yeah. To what extent have you positioned your ports? So we have Takoradi, we have Tema, to be able to get into this year, as soon as we get into January 1st, going forward.
The master plan of Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and for that matter, with the support of the government, it's a visionary one that was looking at Ghana as the hub for West and Central Africa, in several years to come. And this master plan started way back in the 2000s. So today we are boasting as Ghana, I would say West and Central Africa, actually, if you, from Angola all the way to Senegal.
I see.
We have the biggest container terminal, and we are very proud of that. If you look at single terminal and volumes that are handled, we're able to do 1 million at the close of 2018 and 2019. We don't know, maybe the effect of COVID might affect us a little bit. Otherwise, our target was to even cross the 1 million mark. And we are receiving the biggest container vessels that are calling. They come straight to Tema first before they go into other ports to drop their cargoes. And interestingly, even MSC, that owns the terminal in Lomé,
is using Tema Port as
transshipment. They call Tema Port first before they move into their own facility. That should tell you that sometimes the argument that, well, you have two terminals that are too close might not necessarily be. If Ghana has a strategic advantage, you can still be the first port of call before those big ships go into other terminals where they have even special interest. So I would say on the whole, and if you go to look at Takoradi 2 is well positioned as part of our master plan to ensure that we are ready for business before the business even goes to in. Takoradi 2 has been fully expanded. We've done our own side as GPHA. We have a partnership with Abridged, which is building the Atlantic terminal in Takoradi. The target is for it to open for business no later than November 2021. And when that opens, all container operations and general cargo operations will be consolidated at that terminal. Then we've also had a dedicated dry bulk jetty that has been developed. We are in the phase 2 of its development, where it's going to be equipped with conveyors to be able to help us handle all our bulk exports, clinker, bauxite, gypsum, and all those other products that are needed, manganese and the rest. So that is also dedicated and modernized. Then we have the oil services jetty, which has also been built in partnership with Abridged. That was commissioned actually by His Excellency the Vice President in Takoradi in September. That is also meant to serve, in fact, its capacity. It has the capacity to serve the whole liquid bulk industry for as many years to come, given the volumes we consume today and that terminal's capacity to handle. So, and then we have a 4th phase in Takoradi, which is going to be what we call the oil and gas services hub. That hub is going to be a concentration of everything that the oil industry needs, offshore oil industry requires. And that one too, we are in discussion to look at partnership with a foreign entity, so that we can invest appropriately, both financially and latest technology, to ensure we provide the best of services to the oil services industry. So on the whole, Ghana's ports are ready for business today and into the future.
Now, in Mpakadan, do you know the state? Do you know where it is now?
Well, Mpakadan...
Is it supposed to be under GPHA though?
Yeah, Mpakadan will be under the supervision and technical oversight of GPHA, but it is a private sector-led project by LMI. LMI Holdings, they are going to finance that port 100%, but GPHA would own it, right, representing government to ensure that it operates to standard as far as the port is concerned. It will be built to the standard, and to also operate to the standard. It will charge fees that are within the ambit of Ghana's port tariff structure. So that is the role we have been given, because the private entity is going to fund it 100%. So that's the role we have been given, and we've been working with that that private sector investor, looking at the progress he's making. He's conducted his feasibility studies already in terms of the market survey to see how viable the project will be. He sought some advice on what type of volumes can go from Tema into that, what volumes can freely move in there, and what volumes probably will need some kind of government fiat to go there. We are discussing those ones because we expect it to be a free trade environment. Let the customer see that there is value in taking goods through that port, and then say, let my goods move from Tema to that location and go up. But down the line, if there's a need to try and reroute volumes and ensure that they go there, why not? But the advantage of the Mpakadan is that it is going to be linked to the port by rail.
Yeah.
And that
to
is
the Tema port.
to Tema port. Sorry,
Okay.
to Tema port by rail, and that's the advantage. So once Mpakadan is able to demonstrate the economic advantage of picking the container from the rail and putting it on a barge to the north via the lake, and then continuing by road to its destination, if that economics is done to show that it is cheaper than coming all the way with your truck to Tema to carry one container and drive all the way to the north or to Burkina Faso, naturally, you know, the customer will quickly patronize that project.
Since we've stayed on this one, let me just connect to the Boankra then, because the Boankra is also supposed to be inland, and is that also supposed to operate around this model of, you know, taking cargo from either Tema or Takoradi to the inland port, and then for those from the north or maybe the landlocked nations, they can just pick them from the inland port and then send them away.
Boankra is not connected to rail yet, and because of that, though the Ministry of Railways has confirmed that the plans are there to make sure that there is the Takoradi, the western line is able to get a link into Boankra, and the central line from Accra all the way would also be connected to Boankra. When that happens, then Boankra can also comfortably compete to feed from Tema and Takoradi.
Okay.
But today, because that infrastructure is not there yet, Boankra, that's why Boankra is no longer even called an inland port. It's called a logistics, logistics hub or logistics center. The reason is that its model is now going to be a consolidation center.
Okay.
Where all cargoes from here that are not necessarily going to shop floors in the market, but they are going to industry. They have to be repackaged in some form and then sold within the market. Can move from Tema and go and consolidate there into warehouses, get repackaged, and then serving markets. So instead of people struggling within Kumasi Township I'm looking for a warehouse, I want a shop, you can come to the Boankra complex, get a facility there, build it to your taste, and make sure that you consolidate there. Then all export cargoes that probably are being consolidated in small corners around the market or in farmhouses that are not conducive, could also now have space within the Boankra enclave to come and be able to be consolidated and well packaged professionally, ready for shipment. In that case, everything for now, Boankra has to be fed by road transportation, trucks. Trucks will have to load everything in and out of that place until the rail connection comes. Then they will take advantage of the rail. Now, what advantage will Boankra get when rail finally comes? If they start from the logistics point of view today and rail comes one day, they will have built a certain niche because a lot of industries will have established there. And Boankra also has the free zone concept because it's a vast land. So the expectation is that Boankra itself can generate its own volumes to even feed the ports. A lot of export volumes should be generated there, and a lot of import raw materials and inputs should also be generated to still feed the ports. So we are excited as ports to have Boankra come into being. Thanks to His Excellency the President one more time and his government to make sure that comes into being, because that is going to help to even increase volumes through our ports. So that is the kind of linkage you have between these two.
And with these infrastructure and the kind of massive, the picture that you are painting, that kind of massive infrastructure, to what extent will that readily make us stand tall when we have this huge open market?
If we are operating ports, and our ports derive demand from trade, and we have a policy decision or document that has been produced or concept that has come to being to open the whole of Africa, we are excited as ports. And Ghana is really more excited because our ports are already a step ahead in terms of capacity to accommodate the volumes as imports in terms of raw materials to come and feed the industries, and the volumes that will be exported outside Ghana into neighboring countries. Of course, the interesting part is also to see how rail can be developed across the continent. Road network can be first class across the continent, so that neighboring countries will not necessarily use water to ship the sea to ship their imports and exports, but they can use the road as well.
So issues of congestion and all of that are way things of the past.
So ships now call Tema Port and they berth on arrival. You don't queue. But you check other ports. They go there and they have to queue. They have to queue for space to be made available before they come in. And for the ship, once they are waiting and not moving, they are losing money. They want that once they come, you give them way, they come, discharge and move. Now, if you check with shipping lines, they will tell you that freight rates, that is how much our importers pay to move containers and other cargoes from the foreign countries into Ghana. The money you have to pay the shipping line to carry your goods, that they call freight rates. The argument is that coming into Ghana is cheaper than a couple of our neighboring countries that don't have the kind of facility we have. Let me just use Nigeria as an example, where there's a lot of congestion in the Lagos ports. You are going to Lagos ports and you have the feeling, at the back of your minds that the minimum you wait before you even have access into the port is 3 days, 3 to 4 days. Now, but if you are coming to Tema, you arrive and you berth straight. So there's congestion surcharge that you ask your importer to pay extra if you are asking them to take the cargo to Lagos. But calling into Ghana ports, that kind of surcharge doesn't exist. So infrastructure is key. If you don't have it, you can have all the advantages, comparative or absolute advantages in trade. You can produce, but you wouldn't be able to move that goods to the market. And once you can move to the market, it means your effort is a waste.
We know that connectivity also play significant role when it comes to trade, movement of goods and all of that. And the motorway interchange, for instance, initially you had the temporary one done, and then now there is an interchange that's over there. To what extent does that one, for instance, boost trade on the corridor? Because that stretch links Togo all the way through and then hit the motorway, and then you'll be hitting the transit nations. To what extent is such facility, for instance, able to connect trade as we hitting the free market?
Okay, trade feeds on time, distance, time, and cost. And when I say cost, you're talking about direct cost in terms of cash, but the indirect cost you can count is time. If you delay, if it takes you longer than you expect to get your goods from A to B, you lose money, right? And then, no matter how long the distance is, if the road infrastructure is good, if the connectivity is good, you can arrive at your market in good time. Now, the motorway interchange. Those of us who live in Tema and we've experienced that particular roundabout, those days when it was just a roundabout. I mean, you could spend 2 hours just to connect and hit Accra if you are leaving the port. And you had cargo trucks that had to queue. And because of that, they left the main motorway and they were inside the Tema township. Some using even the beach road and creating causing a lot of accidents in town. Today, the interchange doesn't look like a crossroad. You don't see any, all the cargo traffic moves very quickly. And for traders, they are happy about that. For any cargo owner who is moving cargo from the port in and out is happy that when you are accessing the port, you can get there in good time and come back. Because even the trucker, the one who takes his truck to the port to go and load, how fast he can turn around the trucks is how he makes money. So the connectivity is key. And that is why the ideal situation is for you to have multimodal transport. In other words, you have road available, you have inland water available, you have rail available. That way, you as a trader, you are able to look at all these three modes and see, do you use just one of them which you could consider is cheaper for you, or you can even use a combination of 2 or 3 to make sure you get your goods as quickly as possible to your market or to your factory floor or wherever the goods have to be consumed. So connectivity is critical.
Yeah.
Without connectivity, if your port is not linked to as smoothly as possible to road or any other mode that your country has, so that goods can go in and out quickly, no matter how much infrastructure you have, how much facilitation you have, how much IT infrastructure and trade facilitation platforms, single window that you have, you can clear the goods quickly from customs, but they'll get stuck from the roadside. They can't get out into town to get to the shop.
Okay, let's move away from infrastructure and talk about the clearance process and ease of doing business and processes of clearing goods and all of that, because that will play a critical role when a lot of people are going to trade with us.
Yeah. If you take out Morocco and Mauritius, in terms of facilitation and ease of quick clearance of goods, Ghana comes next.
I see.
Yeah, Ghana comes next.
So South Africa and Morocco, Ghana is next.
No, Mauritius.
Mauritius
and Morocco. Even South Africa, we are faster than them today.
Aside these infrastructure and the port clearance processes that you have talked about, DG, what else do you think can complement these efforts if we're seeking to lead in this whole continental free trade thing? Because already, the last time I heard the Accra mayor saying that Accra has become the commercial capital of the continent because the secretariat, the trade secretariat is here.
I think complementary support that is required is the hinterland connectivity. Because, like I said, to date, we are relying 100% on road to connect our ports to the hinterland. And so we need government's already ongoing massive rail project to be further accelerated and completed in good time to open up the ports to other modes. And of course, we need to also take our inland water, the Volta Lake transport, connecting the north to the south, much more seriously and invest heavily and make sure that that also opens to provide a third mode of transportation that will link our ports to the hinterland. From the customs facilitation side, I think the ICOMS is doing quite well. There are a few more hitches to clear it and get us to hit the peak of the best that we want. That should also be sustained. And we should look at the free trade area project itself. What we should be looking at is to see how the extra facilitation we are going to give in our own country in terms of how easily and quickly people can register companies to do business.
Yeah.
And then look at the regime of attracting the free zone project. Yeah. You know, our current free zone situation, the offers we give to people to come and establish industries and produce. If we need to even make it much more easier and affordable for people to be able to come and invest, we should explore all that. Of course, the government is already ongoing with its massive flagship project of planting for food and jobs and export and all that. That is a good project that must be enhanced and expanded. Because when it's expanded, a lot of foreign investors will come in and partner with Ghanaians to expand. And once we expand and produce, you produce with inputs. Some of the inputs have to come from outside Ghana, from other continents or within the continent. All that is going to come to increase volumes. And once we do that and we produce more, then our market grows.
You've embarked on quite a number of ambitious missions to the transit nations with intent to woo them and get them into your site. Yeah. How successful have you been? And now that everybody seems to be grabbing one market or the other, what's your plan to grab those markets firmly?
Well, our landlocked countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, those are the 3 captive markets for Ghana. Chad is a bit distant, so we don't really target Chad, but Niger, Burkina, and Mali. And Burkina being the major where we have direct connection. The other two countries, you have to still pass through Burkina Faso to get to Mali and to Niger. The business, I think the missions we've embarked on have yielded results. The volumes have grown. Close of last year, we did 1 million tons.
1 million tons.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting insight into what is happening within the port sector as far as infrastructure and connectivity to serve the growing African trade is concerned. Eye on Port returns shortly.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Oh, how are you?
Hi Yvonne, a few words please. Everyone is talking about the fire at your production house last week. How are you holding up? Has production stalled?
No, not at all. My crew and everyone on my set is perfectly fine because I insure with Serene Insurance. As a matter of fact, I've had all my equipment replaced, including the vehicles that were affected. My workers have been sorted out. Even my production downtime has been covered. So it's all good. I have a meeting to attend to, so I have to get going. Sorry about that.
Which insurance company did you mention?
Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance, a member of First Sky Group.
Welcome back from the break. International Port and Maritime News next.
DRAD Global has reported that 14 crew members have been kidnapped from a heavy lift vessel in the Gulf of Guinea. The vessel, identified as the Liberia-flagged Genhua 7, was boarded while drifting 78 nautical miles northwest of Sao Tome on November 13, 2020. According to data provided by Vessels Value, 27 seafarers, all Chinese nationals, were on board the ship at the time of the incident. Apart from the 14 kidnapped men, one crew member was also wounded. In a separate report by the Italian Navy frigate, Federico Martinengo, the above-mentioned seafarer sustained a gunshot wound injury to its leg and was evacuated by a frigate helicopter to a hospital in Sao Tome. 5 crew members have been kidnapped by pirates from a Ghana-flagged vessel in another incident in the Gulf of Guinea. DRAD Global informed that the 1,700 deadweight tonnage cargo vessel, identified as Delta, was boarded some 44 nautical miles south of Brass, Nigeria on 16th November. According to data provided by Vessels Value, the ill-fated ship is operated by Ghana-based Adom Mbroso Water Transport. Reports indicate that Delta was boarded by 6 or 7 pirates who took 5 seafarers as hostages. The kidnapped crew members are believed to be Ghanaian nationals. Further reports indicate that the perpetrators have damaged the onboard communications and navigation equipment. DREAD Global added that the vessel was left drifting with 2 crew on board.
Now, schedules of vessels in the port, those at anchorage and those expected in the coming week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate next. Your comments are next. Wisdom Adrenchi asks, what are you doing to construct a railway from Tema Port to Burkina Faso? Hi Wisdom, when Iron Port hosted a Minister for Railways Development earlier this year, he confirmed that a foreign investor who is to finance the rest of the Eastern Line to complete the lines from Pakadan to Paga was being selected. He said this would connect to Burkina Faso. Eric from Antwerp Port says, I think Port regional cooperation should be intensified and stronger in order to reduce risk and shocks from the global crisis. The 2008-2009 global economic crisis affected European ports largely, but their strong regional cooperation helped to minimize its effects on global shipping. This one says, I am a worker at Tema Port and I want to know the progress with signing of the 20% agreement between GPHA and MPS. According to the Director General, the management of MPS and GPHA have agreed in principle to allow GPHA handle 20% of the container cargoes, but that is yet to be signed. He said he is hopeful the signing will be done soon. This one also asks, what's the news on Keta Port? Hello, the DG said feasibility studies by international consultants are ongoing and expected to be completed in the first quarter of 2021. It is after that investors to develop the port infrastructure would be contracted. That's all for this week's episode of Eye on Port. Thank you for watching and thanks to the entire crew.